know that these, over the last 10 years, have got real like hard evidence of where the lights have gone on for people. They've stopped existing and just started to live. They've really pivoted, not just focusing on their to-do list, but now focusing on their bucket list. They've stopped living by default and now are living intentionally by design.
Your success and growth all start in your mind. So get ready for another mind shift. Hello and welcome back to the show. If you're just discovering me though, my name is Joshua Kangley, and this show is all about positivity, motivation, and inspiration. And boy, don't we need that now more than ever. We highlight amazing individuals out there doing amazing things, true guiding lights, as I call them, like our next guest coming up momentarily. Before we get to him though, remember, if you're still wondering who the heck is Joshua Kangley, please go to www.hellomynameisjosh.com. There, you'll learn more about me, and also all my podcasts and all my shows are archived there for you to enjoy. Now, if you have any questions about me, the show, any guest on the show, or if you think you know someone who should be on the show, please email me, josh@hellomynameisjosh.com. And if you are liking and loving and rock and rolling with me on this journey, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share, as this helps me keep the channel growing and help the conversation continuing to grow as well. Now, our next guest, I'm so excited because he is coming to us all the way from Australia, and he is known as the bucket list guy, inspiring so many people around the world with his bucket list approach. And I am so excited to talk more about that with him, Trav Bell. Let's go now to that conversation with Trav Bell, the bucket list guy. Trav, welcome to the show.
Josh, stoked to be on, mate.
Hey, thank you so much. I just want to say first, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing your story with us today. What you're doing is so amazing, and it's actually really inspiring. And so, we'll get into some of that stuff. Before we do, though, there's people just discovering the show, discovering the channel, maybe just discovering you. So if you could just kind of introduce yourself and why you became known as the bucket list guy.
Yeah, well, it's I've been running around the world as the bucket list guy for about the last 10 years, in fact. And someone actually called me the bucket list guy. I put on a seminar about 10 years ago. I had a previous business in the personal fitness training industry. I did that for 20 years. I founded and franchised a chain of personal training studios, helped tens of thousands of clients, over 2 million personal training sessions. Not just me. I'd be pretty tired if that was the case, but had a team of around 300 odd personal trainers over the years to help achieve that goal. And then I went through things got on top of me, and I went through a bout of depression. Life and business and things just got on top of me, and I had my own mental health issues. And instead of going on like heavy antidepressants, I found myself in personal development seminars, trying to get to the root cause of what I was going through, rather than putting a Band-Aid over the top of it. I wanted to get to the psychology of what I was going through. And so I found myself in all these personal development courses, learning NLP and life coaching and positive psychology and all that sort of thing. And then a friend of mine actually said, "Hey, why don't you teach this shit?" That's basically what he said. And I went, yeah, it helped me actually compartmentalize why I was spending so much money and so much time, and but it really helped me. And I love helping people. I've always been, I guess, an educator and a teacher and a coach at heart, and I love seeing the best in people. Hence why I got into personal training, and hence why I do why I do what I do now. But I come out of that friend of mine saying that, and then I put on a seminar. I was shitting myself, and when I look back, and it was crap compared to what I do now. But the point is, I put it on, and I started sharing. This is 10 years ago, so I started sharing my list to do before I die. I always had one written down since I was 18. A lot of people didn't know that about me. And it was always been my reason for getting up out of bed in the morning, always been my reason for making decisions quickly, getting on with business, building business quick, et cetera, et cetera. So, and it helped me sort of compartmentalize business as well, because, you know, as you know, businesses' two roles are to create more cash flow and more time flow for the owner.
Yes.
So you can, you know, go and live your bucket list, go and do the things that you truly want to do. And so I just sort of started sharing this philosophy, and then someone at the end of it, Joe, one of the participants, said, "Oh, how's it this list to do before you die stuff? It's really inspired everyone. It's like a bucket list. You're like the bucket list guy." I went, ping, light bulb moment, went home and registered the domain name, The Bucket List Guy, and I've been running around the world doing my bucket list, speaking at conferences, and now we've leveraged the intellectual property that I've created. Now we've got certified bucket list coaches in 22 countries around the world too. So I play founder, CEO of that company as well.
You know, that's really fascinating and inspiring, you know, what you're doing. And I think I can relate a little bit to getting a bit of a rough patch, a little bit of a depressing situation. I found personal development to be helpful as well. And so it's just so cool that you found that as well, and it helped you get on about life.
Yeah, I think if you speak to most coaches, you know, they're actually coaching because they went through shit themselves and they want to help their former self.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
like whether it's a business coach or whether it's a life coach or whatever, we're trying to kind of, I guess, unconsciously heal our scars. And it's when you start helping people. And I've done a lot of work around this. When you actually start helping people, specifically in the areas that you needed help in, it's a really cathartic experience. And, you know, it's not therapy as such. You know, I mentor a lot of other speakers. I say, whatever you do, don't go up there and try and air your dirty laundry. It's not confessional here. But you are having an effect on yourself. You're building back up that muscle and it is, I guess, for want of a better word, therapy in a roundabout way. If you go out and help more and more people in the area that you needed help in, it's amazing how quickly, and I think it's a really cool accelerated learning technique as well, maybe self-healing technique. Just go and help as many people as you possibly can in the area that you were struggling, and it's amazing what the effect it can have. And we you know, this whole bucket list brand really sits over the top of what I discovered to be great for me, which was positive psychology. Positive psychology, the principles, the pillars of, really is the science of the psychology of happiness, you know. But instead of being the happiness guy, which is not really, is a little bit lame for me, you know, luckily someone called me the bucket list guy, and it was a real values match, you know, a real fit for my personality. Gave me license to run around the world and write my bucket list off on tax too. You know, even to this day, my accountant says, "Trav, you're not as dumb as you look." You know, it's like, no. So my ticket to a marathon and skydiving and even the Burning Man festival. So, Mr. Accountant, are they all tax deductions? Yep, they are for you. Okay.
That's great, you know, and wow, it's just so inspiring. And, you know, you're right. That's where the magic happens. When you find that what it is that you can help your former self with and help others with that, that's where the magic really is. And you seem to find that.
Yeah, well, more importantly, at a deeper level, you know, the big overwhelming why is you look at the mental health of the planet right now. It is fucked. You know, it is bad, dude. You know, and it's got even worse. It was already shocking before COVID, and now it's just at an all-time, you know, it's crazy levels. So we've got these are the things that I'm really passionate about at the core of it. It's not just about me running around the world doing my list and all the fun things that go along with it, and it's not just about the charitable things and the legacy play that we're doing as well. Really, at the core of it is to help people be happier and to give them these give people tools to self-manage, you know, to instead of going on things like antidepressants, because the overuse of antidepressants is skyrocketing. The depression, anxiety is skyrocketing. Suicides, youth suicides is skyrocketing. 87% of Americans are what they call disengaged at work. So there's 87% of people who go to work every day and don't like what they do. They're just getting the paycheck and going home.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, something's not right. Something's not right. And then now, dude, you got this thing called the loneliness epidemic. Like, it's an actual thing. It's the adverse effect of social media. So these sort of things, obviously, because I'm getting all like G'd up now, and this shit fires me up. You know, this stuff makes me sad. So you know, I'm silly enough to want to change the narrative. You know, instead of big drug companies just putting band-aids over everyone, I'm kind of doing my bit through this lens of bucket list to get these positive psychology principles out there, because really at the essence of what we teach is positive psychology. And that's the science of really helping people have more meaning, more purpose, and more fulfillment in their life, and more gratitude in their life.
Yes.
And if I can do that through this lens of bucket list, which makes it more tangible for people and not so woo-woo, and, you know, you go out there and say, oh, I'm a life coach. People just go, oh yeah, good on you. You know, it's like, all right, next. But I know that these, you know, over the last 10 years, have got real like hard evidence of where the lights have gone on for people. They've stopped existing and just started to live. They've really pivoted, you know, not just focusing on their to-do list, but now focusing on their bucket list. They've stopped living by default and now are living intentionally by design.
Yes.
And we, you know, the whole goal of what we do and why I exist is to help wake people up before they get given a use-by date. Simple as that, which is what the movie was all about.
Yes, you know, and like you mentioned, right now more than ever, there's so many of us just suffering and just I don't know what you want to call, sleepwalking maybe as a word.
Groundhog Day. Yeah, there really is. Yeah.
Your
But
methodology.
and that's the thing. It's not until something traumatic or dramatic happens to them or a loved one, or they get given a use-by date from a doctor, is suddenly people reprioritize on their bucket list. It's like, dude, and a lot of bloggers and video bloggers, and, you know, I've even come to heads with other speakers. It's like, why, you know, sure, I had my epiphany as well, and I had to go through, you got to go, you break down before break through kind of moment. But something as wicked, as full on as it takes a cancer diagnosis really to get off your ass and go live your life.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
You know, that's why I just appreciate your methodology, your approach, that bucket list approach. It is tangible and it's inspiring people. Yeah. We need that right now more than ever. I'm curious to know what item, or what maybe a couple items or whatever, have been in your bucket list that you were able to cross off, and it was just a big moment. Like, you were so excited that you were able to cross that off. Like, do you have any big ones that you were just felt so excited about?
You know, being on your podcast was right up there, mate.
Thank you.
You know, tick it before you kick it. Josh's podcast. Done. There's nothing left. Look, it's the. I'm doing 5 things at the moment. I'm about to put out a book called My Bucket List Blueprint. Doing my TED talk, which you may or may not have seen. Was, if you see me there, I'm in front of 2,000 people, absolutely shitting myself. And, you know, me when I talk, I'm running around like an idiot normally on stage. Me being on a 3x3 red dot with 4 cameras on me, you know, like a cage monkey. But ticking that off literally in front of 2,000 people, which was pretty cool.
Yes.
Through to, you know, you've got, like, I entered an Ironman triathlon. I did that, and I didn't even own a bike. And so, you know, just when the why is strong enough for how it worked itself out. I've done a heap of travel, like with my dad, who I'm adopted, and Dad and I weren't really close growing up. You know, he's a fitter and turner his whole life, like a diesel mechanic, and me, his adopted son, I guess a serial entrepreneur. The two of us not really communicating that well growing up, and I'm sure a lot of watchers and listeners could appreciate that.
Yes.
But it wasn't until I started doing my bucket list and taking dad along and doing stuff with him that we're now best friends, you know.
Wow.
And so, you know, and we've done Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa, and a game drive as well in Victoria Falls. A game drive through Kruger National Park, which was really cool. Scary as hell too, but awesome. We did the Inca Trail and finished at Machu Picchu on the morning of my 40th birthday.
Wow.
Together. And we went to Mount Everest, advanced base camp on Mount Everest through Tibet, with a full-on expedition team. And we did, you know, the Kokoda Track in Papua New Guinea together. Now, before me becoming the bucket list guy, he hadn't even travelled around, you know, out of Australia, mate. So,
wow.
You know, it's not about, sure, it's about me, and it's about everyone else. When you first see this or first get involved, it is about you, you know. You know, prioritize your life, and there's not comparing one against another. In my list is bigger than yours or any shit like that.
Yes.
But it's an opportunity for people to take time out of their life to work on their life and put their own oxygen mask on first before they can help others. You know, so sure, I've done all the me things, you know, my bucket list, all the crazy adventure, you know, adrenaline filled things. But now it's more about, you know, how I can help others, and how I can, you know, and so it's less about me, more about we these days. And, you know, connecting with Dad through this bucket list you know, journey, I guess, has been probably one of the best things, and you know, continues to be, you know, and building bucket list coach around the world is a legacy play. That's actually a thing on my bucket list as well. So, you know, then you got all the crazy things that like Burning Man Festival, being a life drawing model for an art class, which was absolutely terrifying. But you know, it's anyway.
Yeah, you know, I think that's a real gift that you and your dad were able to connect like that, and experience these things together. I think they're so cool. And you mentioned
it really has helped a lot of other father and sons get together. I've heard a lot of sons connect with their dads straight after my talks.
Wow.
And a lot of people have reconnected through their bucket list, which is really cool. And we run programs now from families to Fortune 500 companies. Wow. And we're always, always telling them to create a family bucket list, a couple's bucket list, and also your own bucket list. And after all, it is about your life. It's, you know, your life is not a charity. So, focus in on yourself. Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. And you said it's about we now for you. And, you know, you have a great mission, which is to help 10 million people become bucket listers and really live a more fulfilled life, like you mentioned earlier. Can you talk to us about that program and how how you're doing that?
Yeah, well, I'm I've got a business partner over there in the States, and it was because I've been the bucket list guy for, you know, up until about 3 years ago. I gave a speech at the global conference for a company called Action Coach. Action Coach are a big global business coaching franchise, very successful, also set up by an Aussie who I know. And they've got, I don't know, 2,000 coaches worldwide, 70 plus countries.
Wow.
And the founder of that, after I gave my speech at their global conference, he said, "Have you thought about licensing out what you do?" And I went into scarcity mode, and I went, no, this is my niche. This is what I do. This is my secret sauce. This is why I get hired, and blah, blah, blah. And he said, "No, I reckon you could really go out there and help a lot more people, you know, and I know that you want to. And whether it's having 4 kids in my life now, step kids in my life, who are absolutely amazing, or going a little bit grayer, talking about legacy, not really having one, I decided to go for it. And so January 2018, we started licensing out, certifying bucket list coaches around the world. And nearly 3 years later, we're now in 22 countries. And so we've created programs, group coaching programs. We don't do one-on-one. We do group coaching because I ask every coach, or our team asks every coach, all right, what's going to be your contribution towards that 10 million goal? This is a 10-year lifetime kind of goal for the business. That's our mission statement. Wow. And I always, when we onboard a coach, we're always saying, okay, what's going to be your contribution to that? To that 10 million. How many lives are you going to impact over the next 1, 2, 3 years, and then scale that back to 90-day sprints? So it's very strategic on what we're going after. We're nowhere near it at the moment. Mm-hmm. It's a huge goal, but when I created the company, Brad, the founder of Action Coach, said, how many people do you want to impact? And I said, I don't know, 1 million. He just goes, really? Like, get out of here, add a zero. And I just went, that's a whole other ball game. He says, all right, see, now it's a whole other thing. Wow. So as a result, you got in business, as you know, you've got to set that lofty vision. You've got to set that lofty mission, set your values up, and off you go. And so for us, that's what we talk about every single day with our coaches, and we onboard them. You can become so we've got people who have decided to become a certified bucket list coach. They're life coaches that want a bit of structure to what they're doing, or an add-on to what they're doing. People who have been through cancer, who've had an epiphany, that want to help other people, don't know how. Yes. Other bucket listers, people who've been running around the world, don't know how to monetize what they do. They might have a big Instagram following of pretty pictures around the world, and they've got no idea how to monetize it, but everyone comes to them for inspiration. We've got travel bloggers on. We've got, even though it's not just about travel, we've got a heap of business coaches who have added this. And this is a kind of a life coaching framework, but without saying life coaching. And again, underpinning everything is positive psychology. So our programs are designed to really make an impact on mass. And that's what it's all about.
Wow. Congratulations for what you're doing. And I'm behind you 100% on that mission. So thank you so much. Now, your book, mention the book. Where can we find the book? Where's that available?
Well, it's like a way from being published. So it's, but people can connect with me, through to my website, and just put in, subscribe, and then put in the word book or something like that, and we'll get back to it. Or DM me on social media, and we'll put you on a list. But essentially, I'm literally a week away from doing the landing page for it. So kind of, but people can go to the thebucketlistguy.com and check it out on there. It'll be all over that soon. And and it's been a long time coming, and that is actually on my bucket list to publish the book. And you've already got one, I can see in the back. How many books have you done, mate?
I've done two, and then I was a co-author of one, and I have another one coming up. I have another one that I'm coming up and soon to be out too.
Yeah, I assume that one with the success on the back of it, with your head, it was either that or another random guy with a beard on a book.
That's me. That's me right there. My mug right there.
Yeah, so I've co-authored. This is an actual real books here, guys, too. So this is not like a fake Zoom background. I've actually read. I haven't read any of them, to be honest. So the thing is, I've co-authored. I think about. I've got chapters in like about 5 books.
Wow.
Even more, probably up to 10.
Wow.
Some of those people have just wanted me to be in the book, and I've gone, I was in this book, and here's what I wrote in that one. Can you and they've just gone, That's pretty cool. Can we use that? Yeah. So it's the same. I think it's the same chapter in every book. Anyway, this is very different. It's called the My Bucket List Blueprint, and
Okay.
it's called, and it's basically what I did my TED talk on, and I introduced and unpack a concept called the My Bucket List Blueprint in my TED talk, which is called Life's Too Short by Trav. And people can go there and check out what we're talking about here, and it gives people a really expansive way to look at, and a very holistic way of looking at bucket lists. And, in there, to bring it really home, like I say, big quotes such as people are dying at 40 and being buried at 80. A bucket list is like a tangible life plan, where our career plan or our business plan should fit into our life plan, not be the other way around. So we're really bringing home that work to live kind of principle. And that's what we do when we go out and do programs within, within companies and this sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, thank you so much. It's so inspiring. I watched your TEDx talk there, and I was inspired because I'm like, maybe one day, if I don't, crap myself, maybe one day I'll be able to do that. But no, I mean, just amazing.
Oh, mate, it was the most terrifying. About 4 minutes in, guys, you start hearing me, starting to paste up, and it's like, and then I battled through the next 18 minutes or whatever it was. But yeah, I was terrified. I mean, a little quick story around that. I've got a podcast as well called the Bucket List Life Podcast, and I had John Yo, who's the curator of TEDx Melbourne. TEDx Melbourne is the biggest one in Australia, and again, 2,000 people, very influential audience, and it really was a meal ticket into a lot of other corporate gigs, with big banks and big associations and stuff. And they had me speak after the TED talk. The point is, that I had John Yo a year earlier on my podcast, basically saying, because doing a TED talk has been on my bucket list for ages, and I've like got John Yo, who doesn't give much away at all. I'm like, so John, as the interviewer, so John, what would one have to do to be on your TEDx stage, in the next 12 months? He's like, all right, this and this and this, and I'm like, hello. And he just gave me nothing. I'm like, what sort of topic what sort of topic would one have to be the idea worth spreading, which is the TED ethos? And he's like, oh, this and this. And I'm like, bucket list, like you want to, and he just gave me nothing. I put out the episode, and I saw him literally about a year later, and I just forgot about it. I went, if it happens, it happens. And then it wasn't until I went crazy around the world and started, doing keynotes and stuff. And I got recommended by about 3 or 4 people that knew me. Wow. And they recommended me to John. I saw him at a networking event, and John's come up to me and gone, Trav, we need to talk about you doing a TED talk. And I'm just like fist pump,
Wow.
And he goes, oh yeah, but first you've got to audition. I went, oh. And he goes, I know you're a professional speaker, but I don't want you doing your normal spiel. I'm like, oh, I'm screwed here. I got nothing else. No. and then he had me audition. I knew he auditioned everyone on that stage, and he was coaching some of them to get them up to speed. And I'm like, oh God. So I gave him my audition, and there was a long pause at the end of it. And he's gone, don't change a thing. I went, what? He goes, no, don't change a thing. That's perfect for TED. And I went, oh. And then I said, am I in? He said, yeah, definitely. Done. And I went,
nice.
Little celebration.
Nice.
One for the list, mate. That's for sure.
Definitely. Trav, thank you so much. I mean, you are a true guiding light. I just can't say thank you enough for all you're doing, inspiring, and everything that you're doing. We'll make sure I have all the links in the description where we can find you, your book coming up soon, and your podcast as well.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Cheers, Josh.
Thank you so much, Trav. Thank you. Wow, what a great conversation. Trav, thank you so much for being on the show. And thank you again for sharing your story with us all. And thank you for inspiring so many around the world, putting things on their bucket list and checking them off. living the life of their full potential. That is huge, and that is what it's all about. So thank you once again, Trav. Your time, your story means so much to me. Thank you as well. Your time means so much to me as well. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming along this journey with me as we keep these conversations going, as we keep the positivity flowing and the inspiration as well. If you like, please like, subscribe, share this with all your friends and family. Let's keep the channel growing. Let's keep the conversations going. I really would appreciate that. Remember, Tuesdays at 6 p.m., a new mind shift drops. That's a new mind shift, a new conversation with a new guest every Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Central. Now, turn notifications on so we can send you a reminder. That way you don't miss a single show. If you're still wondering who the heck is Joshua Kangley, please go to www.hellomynameisjosh.com. There you can learn more about me. And remember, all my podcasts and show all archived there for you to enjoy at any time. And also, if you have any questions about me, any guest on the show like Trav Bell, or if you think you know someone who should be on the show, email me, josh@hellomynameisjosh.com. Everyone, I just want to say thank you. Be encouraged, be inspired. Live the life that you deserve to live. What's on your bucket list? What should be on your bucket list? Think about those things. Comment what's on your bucket list. I will read and respond to every single one. Again, guys, I just can't say thank you enough. I appreciate you more than you know. And I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. My name is Joshua Kangley. Until next time, I'll talk to you later.